Hi everyone, Ann O'Connell with OC Publishing here, and welcome to the Author Journey. This week on the Author Journey, we have Susan Penney, who has lived in Nova Scotia her whole life. She's had many passions over the years and a great love for nature and the outdoors, for plants, flowers, and traveling. Oh my God, wait till you hear about her travel stories. She's worn many hats over the years, and Susan and her husband started their journey owning an Enviro depot and creating a nursery and garden center business. When it was time for a change, Susan still had a deep love for plants and flowers, but wanted more. Brown-eyed Susan's Flowers was next. She was passionate about flowers and designing beautiful creations. Susan loved the opportunity to create unique designs and pieces of art for so many people. Eventually, everything changes, and after Susan's husband had a battle with cancer that he won, then the pandemic crushed their business. They knew life was telling them it was time for a change. They sold everything, their home and belongings, and started a new chapter in life. Now Susan is digging deeper into her artistic side, creating hand-drawn coloring books, activity books, and travel books. So let's bring Susan up to join me, and she can tell you all about those amazing travels and her creative side. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Welcome to the Author Journey. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, we've got so much to cover, and well, sometimes it feels like a long period of time, and then it's over. So I'm particularly interested in your RV stories, because it's always been a dream of mine to sell everything or put everything in storage, convert an old school bus, and just hit the road. Do you advise that?
Totally. I think everyone should try it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to sell everything like we did, but you could put things in storage, rent your home for a year, and just hit the road. I mean, life is short, and it's so freeing. I can't even describe
Mm.
it.
Well, and having a life-threatening illness sort of puts things into perspective. I mean, is that what sort of lent itself to this sort of shift for you guys?
Definitely. So my husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer back in 2017, which he was quite young for prostate cancer.
Mm.
And he's great at sharing his story with people, which is fabulous for people because most
Yes.
people aren't. We don't like to talk about bad things.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, we started, reassessing and thinking about maybe, slimming our business down because we worked together. We had a floral design business,
Mm-hmm.
and his cancer came back in 2019. And so he's good now. So it's a good story, but it really made us think, oh, those things we want to do someday, maybe we need to start doing them today.
Mm-hmm.
And just as he was finishing radiation and hormone treatments into 2020, the pandemic hit, and it totally crushed our business because we did restaurants and hotels, like large events, weddings, and everything stopped. And we literally were sitting home, and it went a week and then 2 weeks and then a month, and then we're into 2 months, and we were like, we're washing our groceries. Embarrassed to say, but I think we
Oh
all did
no,
it
I
once
did
or
too.
twice.
Yeah, I was looking after my mom, my elderly
Yeah.
mom at the time, in the back door, wash the groceries, up the stairs, and nobody had time to plan for this or
No, we really
prepare.
didn't see it coming. Like, even
Yeah.
though it seemed like something was going on somewhere else in the world, like when it happened here, we were totally, we didn't see it coming at all.
Wow.
And after about 2 months, we were like, okay, someday is now, and we're going to pivot now. And we literally decided we were going to sell our home and all of our belongings and start this downsizing new chapter in life. So
Wow. And so at what point, I'm going to bring up these gorgeous books that you have. At what point did this evolve? So you have a creative side, you design floral arrangements. So where does this talent come from? I mean, I just love this amazing Nova Scotia activity book.
thank
Like,
you.
it's just the boat, the octopus, it's the waves, the fish. So how did you translate, or were you always an artist as well? I mean,
Well, I
okay.
think I dreamed of being an artist, but I knew I needed to eat. So that was my pivot to go into flowers. So I started by growing flowers. We had a
Mhm.
nursery and then doing flower arrangements. But when we sold everything and we found as wonderful it was to have lots of time on my hands, I didn't know what to do with it because I was a workaholic
Mhm.
and I was looking for something to do, but I wanted it to be very freeing, that I could do it if we were on the road,
Mhm.
or if we weren't on the road, that I wanted to be able to spend time and travel with my husband when I could. I didn't want to punch a clock.
Right.
And shockingly enough, while I was looking and trying to figure out what it might be, I always loved to draw, so I was very creative. I watched this crazy lady on YouTube, and her name was Jenny Hansen Lane, and she was just a regular person, and she started making books. And I think she showed her journey. And I think the first month she made like $12. And then the next month she made like 27. But after a whole year, she made like $20,000. And I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
if she can do that, why can't I do that?"
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to bring this screen up again in a minute, but um, you have your collection there. Which one is your favorite?
Well, I would probably say I really love this one, the Nova Scotia Activity Book. Probably, I hope you can see it.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
gonna.
because one, it's my newest, so I love the cover on this one. I felt like I could be more creative, but I
Yeah.
feel like it includes more people because it has, how to draw in it. It has mazes in it. It has scavenger hunts, along with colorful pictures you can do, but
Mhm.
and fun trivia about Nova Scotia because Nova Scotia is so exciting and has so much that we don't really realize how lucky we are to live here.
Oh, so true. So I'm gonna solo you, and I want you to show us some of the interior of that,
Okay.
and talk a little
Well,
bit about maybe your drawing process.
sure. Well, I do have a few pictures in here I can show you. And I do have word search in here too. Just trying to share different things about Nova Scotia. Let me see. There's some fun pictures in here. Um, my drawing process, I'm really a pen and paper, lupins. Can't talk about Nova Scotia without lupins. Um, I love pen and paper, so I'm still doing my pictures in a sketch pad, and then I actually take a photo of them with my iPad and make them digital. So I'm still drawing everything by hand, but I can make it digital so it can be printed later. So
Okay, and there's a close look at that gorgeous cover. So you start with pen and
with my
paper,
pencil and
with
paper, just a
pencil and
sketch
paper.
pad. Yep.
Wow. Okay. And then do you have a particular illustration program that you
Um,
use?
I do. I feel like it's designer, but I really can't. It's hard for me to say off the top of my head. It's on my iPad, and
Okay.
it's a great program that I can do so much with it. I also use Canva when I'm doing my
Okay.
layouts, um, which is really helpful. I love that program. But
Yeah.
yeah, it helps me. I can color, I can draw, I can edit through the designer on my iPad, and I can do it with a pen. So I'm actually drawing on my iPad as well.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
still have that feeling of, I'm not typing to do my editing. I'm literally,
Nice.
scratch that out, make that thicker, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I applaud you and admire you, and I know that there's a lot of discussion and debate about AI, but I will always work with actual artists. Like my mission is never to have an AI generated illustration in a book that
Yeah.
I publish. So,
I feel
I'm
it
very
takes
excited.
away from,
It does.
every creator has their own little niche that they, flow into in their style. And I
Yeah.
think you lose that with the computer. But
Yeah, I agree. What came first, the coloring books or the RV stories?
oh, which one did come first? The coloring book came first. My
Okay,
first coloring book was
let me see.
this one Because my inspiration came from flower arrangements that I had done over the years myself.
Okay, let me
So
see
all
if
the
I.
pieces in here are pieces that I had actually designed for different clients that I had photos from. So it gave me a jumping off point on inspiration to draw.
Okay, is that this one?
Yes, yep.
Okay,
Yep.
nice. And stress relief, and that's I love that too because adult coloring books have become very popular. And I love that you're identifying, people go, oh, coloring's for kids, but
Mm-hmm.
you've identified that it's stress relieving, right? And it
And it
really
really
is.
is. When you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting and you're coloring, you're focused on that and you're just picking your colors and you're trying to create something beautiful and you actually get distracted from whatever that noise is in your head, right?
Yep. And so then which one was your first RV book?
I believe I think the We Sleep Around one
I was
was
hoping
my
that one
first
would come
one.
up.
And this is our RV. So I was trying to be very authentic that this is our little motorhome that we have. So, and it has prompted pages to help you, make it easy to write down your trip. Like my
Okay.
husband likes to keep track of mileage. I like to know like where we're staying, what site we're in, where we're going to
Mm-hmm.
stay next time if we go to that campground again.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I did that one, I was like, I have to do one for Nova Scotia because so I was able to do the same pages, but inside we have our provincial parks, our national parks, our beaches, some hiking trails, things to do to give you a jumping off place
I love
to go
that.
explore Nova Scotia.
Oh, I think that is just incredible. Again, my purchase list has just grown exponentially. So, what, tell me the craziest RV story that you've ever
Oh
experienced.
gosh. Well, coming into things that I would not recommend to people is like, when we first started RVing, I guess, you know, we were adventurous, but we didn't know what we were doing and showing up places like when you're in the dark and you're trying to park and get into a campsite and hook up and, you know, but adventure, we went to Newfoundland for a whole month, which was spectacular.
Oh,
So,
wow.
taking the ferry over and all that, but we drove right across Newfoundland.
Wow.
We went to the Magdalen Islands. We seem to have a thing for islands, so
Oh, I love that.
yeah,
Is
and
there
it was
is there a
beautiful and
car
an adventure.
ferry? Is there a
Yeah,
car ferry over to
yeah.
Magdalen
You
Island?
actually go to PEI and you can take it
Okay.
from Surrey and it goes
Okay.
to the Magdalen Islands. So, which is
Wow.
beautiful. And until we really started digging into exploring, I'm embarrassed to say, but I didn't even really know about the Magdalen Islands. So
So do you outline in one of those books like how to go about doing that?
it's on the list.
Okay.
I have so many ideas of books, but but I definitely need to do a book about do's and don'ts and on the positive side of RVing because there's always lots to
Yes.
learn, but having fun is the most important
Oh,
part.
the best
Enjoying
advice.
the journey.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm looking at my wall because when I first started thinking that I would like to do some RVing myself, I have a map of Newfoundland on my
Oh,
wall
nice.
because that is so high on the list. So it would have to be in the summer, but I want to do like a coast to coast
Mm-hmm.
trip, right?
Yeah.
Um, so when you started this mission to do these books, you're self-published, and you mentioned that you use Canva to do your layout,
Mm-hmm.
and then all your coloring books are on Amazon. Are the RV
Yes.
books on Amazon as well?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. But you also have done a lot of like traveling around and asking bookstores and gift shops to carry them. So
Yep.
talk a little bit about that process.
So I've been knocking on doors. Like I'm just like every gift shop or, bookstore or anybody that I think might be a good fit. I've been knocking on their doors and saying, "Hey, I think that we'd be a good fit, that we should connect." So I've been really, really fortunate that just the last summer I got on the cat ferry. So I'm on the in the gift shop on the cat ferry there,
That's
and
fantastic.
there's two ferries connected there. So excuse my both down
Mhm,
like towards Digby.
mhm,
I'm trying to get on the PEI ferry and the Newfoundland
mhm,
ferry, but work in progress.
mhm.
But I'm in like Peggy's Cove in the Southwestern gift shop, and
I
I'm in
was
the
gonna
teaser in
ask.
Mahone Bay, and
Good.
in the Lighthouse Market in Mahone Bay. My husband and I love Mahone Bay, and we have a little piece of land there that we park our RV on. So
Oh,
it's like
nice.
we love it there.
Home away from home.
It is. It's definitely our home away from home.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been really lucky that people have been open and receptive, and I've just been going along the South Shore and knocking on doors.
Mhm. So do you use the Nova Scotia one as your initial, like, in and,
Yeah,
it's like
definitely. My both of my Nova Scotia ones. So all three of my Nova Scotia books, because I do have the amazing Nova Scotia coloring book, which
oh,
is
cute.
it's all coloring pages, but they're all around the province. So I really
Right.
tried to get pictures that, of course, I can't flip to one that's gonna like I have Lunenburg and I have Mahone Bay,
Oh,
I have
beautiful.
Halifax, Digby, along with great coloring like the one on the front page.
Yep.
But trying to get people around the province because we need to explore more. So both of my books, I tried to get people to include things from Cape Breton to Digby to Yarmouth to
Right.
Annapolis Royal, right?
Right. I'm just gonna pull up. And so you have the amazing Nova Scotia coloring book, and what was the third Nova Scotia
I have
one?
the amazing Nova Scotia activity book, and I do have a lot of people that carry my Nova Scotia travel log book because a lot of tourists like to pick it up, or even locals, because we have so many great places to explore around here, right? And so
Awesome.
many people have campers and RVs.
And did you hold up the other one? I was trying to.
I think I did, but I'm not quite sure. I had already held this one up earlier. So my amazing Nova Scotia
Oh,
activity book.
oh yes, yes, the
Yeah.
activity book.
So,
And
so those are
then,
the biggest ones that I sell the most of, right?
okay.
Depending
And
on where, but the Nova Scotia ones are the most popular.
you've also got a couple of them translated into French.
I do. I do. I have my coloring book. My Nova Scotia coloring book is in French, and I actually on Amazon it's actually available in German, and so is my
Wow.
travelogue book available in German as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so how did you approach the whole translation process? Like, do you?
Fortunately, I do pay for Canva, which
Mhm.
offers so many other things, and it does offer translation assistance as well. So
You know
there's
what?
not a
You learn
whole lot of
something new every
translating in the
day.
coloring book. but
True.
but it
So,
opens, I know we have a lot of people who like to travel here
mhm,
and they
mhm,
might not necessarily speak English.
mhm,
I know when we go traveling someplace different, I like to, part of the research is kind of the excitement for me. So I would buy a book somewhere we're going so I could learn about it and get excited about it. So as far as the coloring and activity book, I think it's a
mhm.
great way to get your kids excited about going somewhere and, learning about it a little bit. So.
Absolutely. And so what made you choose German? I mean, naturally, you're in Canada, so translating it to French is a
That was
logical.
a no-brainer, of
Yep.
course. I
Mhm.
did German because I had met Fraser Way RV, one of the gentlemen there, and they actually sell my books there too. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
because it's a great add-on for people, right?
Yep.
To record your trip and get something for your kids to enjoy the trip.
Mhm.
And he had told me they do a lot of German customers. And I thought, well, maybe they need a book in their own language. So I started doing that, and I do sell the German ones on the German Amazon site as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And so let talk a little bit about Canva. So for people who aren't familiar, it's a very, very I use it myself, very
Hmm.
popular design platform that people use for their social media posts, and much more, like any print design.
Hmm.
So talk about the translation piece, because I know I'm curious about it. Um,
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I mean, is an additional fee, or is it part of the
I think I
professional?
pay $15 a month. You can use
Okay.
Canva for free, and
Yep.
lots of people do, but I just felt like it's a minimal expense where I am trying to
Value.
do this professionally,
Yep.
and it does open up the doors to more things that I can do with the program, right?
Yep. Yep.
I do find it extremely user friendly. Like, it's
Yep.
very easy to use. You don't have to have prior knowledge to use it, or I
Hmm.
don't think you do. Like, I find it very easy. And I
I would
have
agree.
already I make all my pictures digital on my iPad before I upload them, just like you would a photo or anything else. So,
Okay. Hmm.
as far as Canva, most of the time I might like be cleaning up the pictures or making them the correct size for a book,
Hmm.
and putting them in book format so that I can, do, which ones I want on which pages and things like that,
Hmm.
right?
And so for translation, what's the
They have
process?
a translator like section, so you can actually upload your book in English and they will translate it into, and they have multiple languages, and
Wow.
then you just have to go in and kind of clean it up, because obviously, even going to French, your paragraphs are longer or shorter and whatnot, so that
Right.
it's, visually aesthetic. And I think that it's a lot better of a translator than if you're just using Google or something,
Okay.
you know
So it is an automated translator. It's not
Yes,
like
it does
okay.
automate translate it. So
Okay. Did you have, were you able to, or did you have somebody German have a look at it? And like you said, as a
I
coloring book,
haven't
it's not a
German,
lot.
I have the French. I don't have a German friend, but
Okay.
I would love to, but
Yeah.
I did go through and kind of, how do I want to say this? Like, double check it, to go through, like, there aren't a lot of words in a coloring book.
Right.
So
Right.
I
So
was
that made it a
able
little
to
easier.
cross-reference them myself, like with Google, to make sure that it came up the same both ends, right?
Right. Right. Well, that's good. I mean, that's very exciting. That's very exciting. I've had a couple of our books translated, one into Mi'kmaq and one into Spanish.
Oh,
Um, but I'm always hesitant. I used professional translators, and
yep.
it was a lot more text. So
Yeah.
I would have been nervous, especially with the Mi'kmaq version, right?
Yeah.
So
And I would be too, especially because that's such a specific,
right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, and I even wonder if they would have an option, that
I don't know
language
if
as
they
an
do.
option.
That's a good
Yeah,
question. I would love to
yeah,
know, but that's a great question.
yeah, yeah. So, what advice would you give somebody who is just starting out and exploring opportunities?
I would probably say just start.
Mhm.
Just start. Like, whether you're writing a book or you're drawing a book, or you have to just start, because it's like everything else we do in life.
Mhm.
We get better with practice, but we have to start. So, I mean, unless you're super lucky, your first book isn't going to be the first thing you write isn't going to be the best thing you ever write, but
Mhm.
you have to start.
Mhm.
And you learn so much each time, whether it's editing or drawing or writing,
Mhm.
how you like your book formatted, how it comes out. I just feel like it's all a learning process.
Oh my God. And it never stops, right?
No,
Did
God, no.
have you done
No.
any art classes? Did you do any art classes like back in the day,
Not
or?
since like high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is all just kind of a natural. I mean, your artwork is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Like, just if you look at I'm going to bring all of those covers up again, um, and share, because I think it's worth toggling through. But these are gorgeous, and
Thank you.
you have sort of a color theme. Like, those are Are those your go-tos? Do you like the pastels?
I like color. I love
Mm,
color. So there
mhm,
was part of me that was trying to, at different times, it might have been a little bit muted, thinking like,
mhm.
what do people want? But for me, it's color. I want it to be like bright and loud and beautiful, right? So
Do you still do any of the floral arrangement
the
work?
odd time, if I have a client who is looking for me to, hey, do you think you could do something for me? I do,
Mhm.
but not really, not
No,
really. I did have a. Oh, one sec. I'm so sorry. My son
that's
is
okay.
knocking at the door. Just give me two
That's
seconds.
okay. Let me bring this back up. We're looking at more of those beautiful books.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We're bringing up those beautiful books to have another look.
Oh, that's okay. Um, yeah. Sorry, you were asking
That's
me
it.
something and I was
So
distracted.
the floral design. So you're still doing some of
Oh,
that?
not really.
Nope.
I did do something for a client back in December that I got to do flowers for Michael Bublé. So that was kind of
Oh,
fun.
wow.
He was
Oh,
here in
that's
Halifax
exciting.
and I was called
Yes.
and asked. So I was very fortunate to do that.
Oh,
Um,
that's so much fun.
yeah, so it was fun, but I feel like as much as I loved it, I am trying to envelop myself in this new chapter of life and to try and
Yes.
like enjoy it and move
Yep.
forward. And as I'm not saying if somebody doesn't call me that I wouldn't do it again, but
Right.
just in little
Right.
dabbles, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's all part of your creative nature anyway. So are
Mhm.
you focusing on the books that you have, or do you have another one in the works?
I do have another one in the works. I'm hoping it'll be out this spring because I guess, like you got to keep that ball rolling and keep it exciting and
Mhm,
interesting.
mhm.
As a person, I'm constantly full of ideas and have a notebook with me all the time. So I probably have 4,000 book ideas in my head, but deciding on which one is next. But yeah, there'll definitely be one out this spring if all is good. So
Excellent.
I hope so.
Well, make sure you keep us posted. And you're obviously doing the thing you're meant to be doing, because all of us writers and authors always have more ideas in our head that we could possibly get out in
Yes,
our lifetime, right?
exactly. And I'm like writing them all every time,
I love it.
a bedside nightstand, you're like, oh my God, I just had this crazy idea.
Well, don't wait 10 years like I did. I've got my next book coming out next month, and it'll be 10
Oh,
years to the
awesome.
day since my
10
last one.
years. Well, that's so
Yep.
exciting, though. That's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you. That's what happens when you start a publishing company. You start working on other people's books instead.
Exactly. You get distracted, even though it's a good distraction from your own
Yes.
creativity. Yeah.
Yes, yes, but we're all good. And I love what you're doing. And like I said, my dream is the RVing life. So I will definitely pick up those books. And as you
Awesome.
were
Thank you.
saying, oh, pleasure. All of Susan's books are on Amazon, and you can also pick them up at the gift shop in Mahone Bay
Mahone
and
Bay. I
Mahone
have a new shop
Bay.
carrying them in Halifax. Like, I'm trying to get them everywhere.
Excellent. What's the shop in Halifax?
Oh, it's the map shop downtown.
Oh, I
It's a
love
beautiful
that. Oh,
shop. Yeah,
I just bought a great big world map and mounted it on my wall because it just reminds me that I need to keep traveling. So, and you
exactly.
mentioned the Sou'wester, which is
The
out at Peggy's Cove.
Sou'wester, the Lighthouse Market in Mahone Bay, the Teaser in
Excellent.
Mahone Bay. I
Excellent.
have them in a shop in Lunenburg, which is the Burnbrae Gallery, I believe. Excuse me if
Nice.
I misspeak, but yeah, I'm trying to get them out as many places as I can. They just went into a bookstore in Enfield
Ooh,
last week.
perfect.
Pages and
Pages and Pod. No, that's a blog.
oh, what? It'll come to me as soon as we get offline. But
Of course.
anyway,
But you
it's
know
the
what? You
only
can always
bookstore in
in
Enfield.
Enfield.
So
You can pop it in the comments at any
Oh,
point,
I will.
come back and add to it. So I so appreciate you joining us on the author journey today, and your journey has been, lots of pivots and curveballs, but boy, you obviously have, a passion and you're running with it. So I admire you and congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it was fun being here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. And we'll have you back when the next one comes out. How's that?
Awesome. Sounds great.
Perfect. And thank you all for joining us on the author journey today with Susan Penney and her beautiful coloring books and RV adventure books. So we'll see you again next time on the author journey. I'm Ann O'Connell. Bye for now. And I hope you're doing lots of great reading and writing. We'll see you next time on the author journey.